Hello, welcome to Walk in the Park. My name is Tony Ingram. This is, let's see what show this is here. Episode 60, recorded on November 6th, 2013. If you want to see more of my episodes, go to my blog, walkinpark.com, and you can search for anything you want, all different kinds of categories for seeing my shows about parks near and far. So, today we're going to do a little bit of both, mostly near, and we're going to go to Robert H. Treman State Park and their Heritage Day last month, which was a couple of weeks ago. And but first I want to take a look at the sunrise today. Let's go to the sunrise. Well, that's today, that's this morning, but it's from Grand Canyon. This is a spot called Mather Point. And a whole bunch of people have gone out to see the sunrise over the Grand Canyon this morning. So isn't that pretty? Now we're going to look at another sunrise that none of us around here saw. Look at that one. That is Sunday morning, November 3rd, the sunrise off of the South Carolina coast. We had a partial eclipse along the coast there and all up and down the coast, but we didn't see it here in the Finger Lakes because it was so cloudy. But I did see a picture in the Adirondacks. Somebody saw some of this. You can see part of the sun is covered by the moon during the eclipse. So I guess farther east they saw it better, but there are not very many people out in the ocean. But anyway, let's see. That was Myrtle Beach State Park in South Carolina this Sunday morning. All right. Okay, so now we're going to go to Robert H. Treman State Park. And like I said, a couple of weeks ago was Heritage Day, and that is usually centered around the old mill in the Upper Park. It's in the town of Enfield. The park stretches between the town of Ithaca and the town of Enfield in the Upper Park. And I'm sure most of you have been up to the old mill. It's actually closed for the season now, but it was built back in about 1839 and was part of a community. This is a model that's in the mill, a little scale model kind of thing of a hamlet that was there. The mill was a part of the hamlet of Enfield Falls, most of which was removed in the early days of the state park, or had actually burned down some of it before that. But back in the 1800s, this was a milling community and kind of a what they call a agricultural service hamlet that. Farm families would bring their grain to be ground in the mill, and they'd go to the sawmill, the shingle mill. There was a blacksmith shop, a post office, general store, that sort of thing. So that's like kind of going to the mall today. And here, this is a map, a section of a map of Tompkins County. This is the town of Enfield. Enfield Falls, actually, the community is listed there, way before the park. The park was created in 1920. This map was drawn in 1866, and the arrow points to the mill, which was built, like I said, around 1839. And so a lot of things go on at Heritage Day. We give tours of the mill. This is the Friends of Robert H. Treman State Park, by the way. I'm on the board with them. I used to work for the state parks for many years. And inside the mill, one of our trustees, actually this is Pauline Halpern, a past president of the Friends of Treman in the foreground there, explaining the mill to a visitor that day. And you can see that there are some signs around. The mill really has a self-guided tour all through the 4 floors of amazing milling machinery there. That room to the right in the back is a little exhibit hall about the Civilian Conservation Corps camp that was in the park. So that's some of the stuff that goes on Heritage Day. But perhaps the most eye-catching thing that happens is archaeology, because Professor Sherene Baugher's class, Sherene is on the left there in the white shirt with the gray vest, for the last 15 years has been excavating the house sites, building sites, hotel site, and so forth, blacksmith shop, what have you, in the mill, because most of those structures were either, like I said, taken down when the park was created, taken down in the 1920s, or they had fallen into ruin or burned before that. But back in the 1800s, it was a thriving little community, and as you'll see in a minute, you'll learn a little bit more about this spot. There's a tour, actually a little walking tour of the archaeological sites around the site, telling you what the houses were. Sometimes if they had pictures of them, there'll be pictures. And there's also a little booklet that goes with that that's on, has been on our website, the Friends of Treman's website. And it's on the old one. We need to get it on the new one. We have a new website now. But this particular day, the Sherene's Baugher's class, this is an archaeology class at Cornell, was excavating what's called the Rumsey House. And each year in the fall, their archaeology class goes out and excavates on a site. And sometimes they'll spend several years excavating a single house site and digging up the foundations, or what they call the midden and so forth, which is the midden is the trash heap. Now, if you look at this map again, you can see again the arrow to the mill in the lower part of the map, and then up to the left is where the house site was. The house site is there. That's being excavated by the students now. It says O. Rumsey, and that was Oliver Rumsey, and the Rumsey family was there for a long time. Let's see. I'll read a little bit of what Dr. Baugher wrote. The Rumsey Mill is identified. Okay, that's, if you look just to the right of the, where it says O. Rumsey, you'll see S. Mill. That is a shingle mill. The Rumsey Mill is identified in the 1866 Atlas of Tompkins County, showing Enfield Falls along with a house owned by O. Rumsey, or Oliver Rumsey. Shingle mill and house both don't appear on the 1853 map, so they were built sometime between 1853 and 1866. And the property, 89.5 acres, was sold to the state of New York for $7,000 in 1926, and the last owners were Milton and Marie Rumsey. She writes, "It is terrific to find a property that was owned and occupied by one family for over 60 years. Material in the house dates to the 1920s, but the broken artifacts in the midden date to the late 19th century." So there's a lot of interesting things that they've been turning up and learning a lot of things that we don't wouldn't know otherwise about the community at that time. So okay, so what we're going to do now is go to actually a video of the dig going on that day. So we'll get right to that in a second here. So what do we have here? Oh my gosh, you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we have a bunch of gallon bags. This is some sort of extract. It's manufactured by Charles E. Kyer's company. It says home extract. This we think is some sort of either condiment bottle or perfume, which is pretty cool. But I think the coolest thing we found was a, where is it? Oh, we found a bottle that still has some liquid in it. So,
ooh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you can tell from there.
Have you tasted it yet, or no?
Yeah, but
oh, well, you're going to say that. See what it is, yeah.
No, yeah. But it's going to the lab to be tested. But these people were moonshiners. So.
Were they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who were these people?
This is the, Rumsey House?
Yeah,
was this the blacksmith's house?
No. They were sawmill owners.
Aha.
Officially.
Yeah.
But we actually interviewed somebody who visited this site, because the site's only 86 years old.
Right.
And they remember there being a moonshiner still here.
Oh, wow.
So, will
That's
we find
pretty
it?
cool.
Who knows? Probably not this time.
Yeah, that was Prohibition era, right? So, yeah. Oh, interesting.
So, they were definitely sawmill owners, though, and possibly something else on the side.
Yes.
Whether it was for personal or otherwise, we're not sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
I've just been working on the foundation,
Uh-huh.
because as you can see in some of the other units, they've got nice foundation stones, and like right here, the foundation's very nice and smooth, whereas over here it's much more rough. So we think the reason there's a difference is because the smooth side could have been inside of a basement, could have been the wall of a basement, and so they wanted to make it smooth rather than all rough and jumbled like it is on the outside.
Yeah. Oh, wow, okay. So this is probably the outside of the house here then.
Yeah, exactly. And notice the difference in the soil.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's dark.
Well, we know the reason that soil is that color is because the house burned down.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's all sorts of charcoal and burned metal and all sorts of fun stuff.
So how do you know the house burned down?
Because of the presence of charcoal. Where is it? This piece, if I can pull it out, it doesn't look like much, but this is a piece of burned plaster. And only plaster is this particular color and only has this consistency when it's been burned. So we know that the walls were on fire at one point, which is not something normal.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And like just if you can like take a look from here. Here, Jake, could you move for a second? You see how that in that corner, there's that really dark patch?
Down on this in this right corner.
Yeah, in the bottom right corner. That's all ash. That's all charcoal.
Oh wow.
So it's pretty definitive that the whole house was on fire at one point or another.
Yeah.
We are gonna be able to narrow down what temperature it was because we found some bottles that have been partially melted but not completely, which means that it was right at the melting point of the bottle. So.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, so eventually we'll actually know what temperature this fire was.
It's a real detective project here to figure out what happened to this house.
Yeah, it's all just clues. We're just reassembling the pieces.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, that's the excitement of archaeology, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Right.
It's a gigantic puzzle, but you don't know what it is when you start.
Right.
You just have a bunch of pieces and you try to figure out how they fit
What is it
together.
we have here? Yeah, right.
Yeah, like one of the more unusual pieces we've got going over here is this pile of mangled metal.
Oh my.
We found a license plate from a car strapped to it, so we think this may have been a car.
Oh my.
Yep, that's what we're gonna do.
What's even more unusual, though, is just in that unit right there, we've been finding piles of porcelain pottery.
Huh.
Like really nice, high-quality, gold-plated pottery.
There's a piece right there.
Yeah, they pulled that right underneath the concrete. Yeah, so like somehow there was both a car and porcelain pottery like side by side, so we don't really know why
weird.
that happened.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. See, look, they've been working in this unit and they've got all that porcelain right there. So it's a little bit odd that they're so close together.
Yeah.
It's not a garage or a house.
Car in a china shop.
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, yeah.
Huh.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
What's your name?
Reese.
Reese. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Reese. That's great.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be out here. I really love this class. This is my second year doing it.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, they've got some other really exciting things, but you should probably ask them about it.
I'll go over there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, that's 61. That's 61.
Hi.
Hi.
I am Tony.
Hi. I'm Jackie.
Jackie.
I'm Carrie.
Carrie. Great. Who are you all?
Matt.
And what's your name?
Caroline.
Caroline. Great.
Started, so we don't have too many
They got all the cool stuff.
to show you.
Yeah, but you got the cool stuff to come. So.
Yeah, true.
Right. So what are you finding over here?
Right now, this we think is a lawnmower.
Oh my.
Yeah, right there.
Push mower, no doubt. Oh yeah. I think that's a good
We
guess.
have the foundation wall right here.
Uh-huh.
We have a bottle right here, actually.
A bottle. Okay.
Wow, yeah, a full bottle.
A full bottle. You mean? Oh my goodness.
And that we found this full bottle earlier too.
Wow.
Here.
Let me see. Okay.
So.
Oh, you mean the bottle is not full? It's just the entire.
Full, yeah, entire.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
What else? We found a chain link fence. Chain. Oh yeah, we found it a wood chain.
Chain link fence? Wow.
So we found like a whole plate. We think to get like. I mean, it's broken up, but overall, we think we got all the pieces of it.
Of what?
Of a plate. Of a plate.
A plate. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're going to take that back and try to assemble it and see if it makes one plate there.
Yeah, there are a good amount of pieces.
So this would have been a basement?
We're not sure.
No.
No idea. We really don't know. I would love to know. Because right now, we don't know why there's going to be a lawnmower in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, or a car for that matter.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Over in that unit there, yeah, the car.
This is definitely a garage. I'm gonna make that comment now.
Ah, that's interesting.
Otherwise, though, we've just found a lot of broken glass.
Garage with
and
dishes in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So what have you learned from and other than the very specifics, what can you infer from what you found so far, do you think?
I mean, I don't know. It's
I'm
hard.
gonna say they were kind of wealthy. I'm gonna say they're more on a wealthy side because
Yeah,
they've been
they
finding pretty nice tea cups over there.
Uh-huh.
So, and they've been finding like lots of plates plus the lawnmower. And all, I mean, I think it's very rare to find a lot of these kind of artifacts. So.
Yeah, so these were not poor people. These
No,
were
I don't
these were
believe these were very
these were prosperous.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right. So what's the logic behind making these particular unit squares, lining them out like this? Does it allow you to like make a grid and say exactly where things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all trying to find the whole foundation wall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all placed.
So you'll put this all on a map then?
Yep.
Yep.
Right, right. And what was found where, and analyze it. So what are you going to do with all these artifacts?
They're gonna go back to the lab, and then next semester there's gonna be a lab class that's gonna clean them all off. And
Right.
whatever pieces they can are gonna try to put them together. So
Yes.
hopefully we can get like whole plates or whole cups,
Right.
or whole bottles that we don't already have together. So
Yeah, and then you can do some background research and see what
Yep.
you can find about them and so forth, and
Definitely.
then do some deeper interpretation of what you've actually
Yeah.
excavated.
Didn't they already look into one of the symbols they found on our like plate?
Yeah, it's about 1921, so.
Huh. Well,
They like looked it up in a book because the piece we took out had like a label on it.
Oh, wow.
what was this you
It was
found?
just it was like a piece exactly like that, except for it had
Oh, I
a
see.
label and a
Piece
date
of pottery,
on
a
it.
piece of
Yeah.
Right.
Piece of a teacup.
Oh,
With gold plate.
my goodness.
Very nice.
My goodness.
Now to be really
Oh
careful.
wow, that is nice. There's like gold on the
yeah,
top.
just be careful. They were saying with theirs that like if you rub it, it rubs off.
Ooh.
Don't rub the gilding.
Oh yeah. Oh, I lost it here. Gilding on it. Let's see.
Want to see?
All right.
Same kind of rim, but I think a lot of it ripped off.
Can I see the gilding there? Maybe I can zoom in on that. So that's like a gold. What, is that right at the very top there? You mean in the top edge? Yeah, right up there.
very faint,
Okay, wow. So that's like gold, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, definitely.
Found a lot of melted glass too. So
Haha.
this is melted glass.
From the you found some melted glass.
So it's
Let's see.
it's folded upon each other.
Oh, let's see that. Let's
It's all melted. I don't know if you can tell, but
see. Yeah.
it's
Yes.
melted on each other. Here's a bottle,
Feeling
Jack.
blurry on me here. Yeah. Wow.
You better find a bottle.
Wow. Cool. So that's one of the pieces of evidence that there was a fire here.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
definitely.
Do you know if has anybody been able to decide whether the fire is what resulted in the disappearance of the building, or was it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
myself.
we're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, we don't know that yet. Yeah.
For this level B.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm finding a lot of
All
glass.
right. All right. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah. I'm Tony. So, what are you finding here? What's going on here?
Foundation wall. This is
Foundation wall?
And then we found like a lot of metal cables. We found like these. It's a caster wheel. We found a lot of caster wheels.
What is that?
Casters.
Oh yeah,
Red
casters. Okay.
casters. And even we found the smaller ones. And we've been finding a lot of nails.
Nails?
Yes.
Oh, they're like all square nails.
Yes. And over here we did find like lots of glass pieces. And we found pulley wheel.
What is that?
It's a pulley.
A pulley. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yep. And we even found like stoneware, then the clam shells.
From their kitchen, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of ceramics.
We found a lot
of ceramics,
We
okay,
found a
okay.
metal cable. And Sherene is here.
Okay. What? Stoneware.
Stoneware. It's like painted in gold.
And even gold. Oh wow. Yeah. Look at that. Will you? Let's see. I'll get a little closer.
Yeah, and then I can also take pictures of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's starting to rain.
Yes, it is.
And we
Running
found
out
a
of-
mason's jar over there.
There's a jar.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Wow. I understand you have here the inside of the foundation wall.
Yep, these 2 units right here we have.
Those 3 units there, because it's really what, well pointed or whatever. I don't know what you'd call that. But yeah, nice
Flat, I guess.
straight flat wall. So that's the foundation inside the foundation wall. Cool.
Yeah, we're opening more inside the house instead of more that way.
I'm sorry?
We're opening more inside the house towards the other unit.
Opening more inside the house. Okay.
And also double check both of these units.
Looking over stuff. We have about 20 minutes before the rain is going to come
I don't know,
in.
maybe a metal pipe, but some kind of metal something.
Metal pipe,
So we're
okay.
not
And then also,
scrambling
it's
at
in
the
this
end.
unit right here.
Put all the artifacts into
Right.
the
But for now, we're just opening these up and seeing if we can find anything new.
Uh-huh.
And at this point, you should start.
Okay. So Heritage Day at Robert H. Treman State Park. If you want to find out more about the Friends of Robert H. Treman State Park, you can go to our website, tremanparkfriends.org. And we're in transition from that one to an older website that has a lot of information on it, which was friendsoftreman.wordpress.com. But tremanparkfriends.org. I have on there a video, one of these shows, an episode from August showing damage to Robert Treman State Park from the terrible flooding in August 9th it was. So, well, now we're going to go to Buttermilk Falls State Park, take a walk in the park. live near Buttermilk Falls State Park, and that's one of the places I like to walk. So we'll take a little walk down in there and look at some lingering trees. This is a sugar maple that has nothing but yellow leaves on it down in the shade of the glen. It doesn't get much sunlight to perhaps turn the leaves a little bit reddish. That's another whole story, fall colors. But and then look at this time of year, you start to notice tree trunks and so forth that when the leaves are dropped, you start to see the shapes of trees. And in the gorge, you get these odd curved trunks. Well, a couple of years ago, I made a video about that very subject. So let's go take a look at that video. Hello, my name's Tony Ingram, and in a gorge now in Buttermilk Falls State Park. And one of the interesting things you see along the gorge is how plants, particularly trees, adapt themselves to living in this environment. Now we know some things about a gorge. It's deep, shady, usually cooler than other places. The sides of the gorge are steep, and there's not a lot of soil in them. Often it's cliff and rocky. And if you're going to live here as a tree, for instance, you got to find a way to survive all those different things. And one of the biggest challenges is just keeping your foothold on the, or root hold, I should say, on the sides of the gorge. So only trees and shrubs that are able to grow on steep slopes and to adapt to changes that happen to them, things that happen on a steep slope, are able to survive here. For instance, hemlock trees, the evergreen that's most common in our gorges, can live in deep, shady conditions, but it also can live in steep conditions, steep slopes, cliffs even. As we'll see as you look at some of the images that I've got to share with you that I've taken in the gorge here, trees often have curved bases. Now, how in the world does that happen? How do you get a curved bottom of the trunk of the tree? Well, let's say a small hemlock, when it's just a little seedling or sapling is growing up and it's on the side of the gorge and we have a lot of rain, for instance, it causes the soil to slip and the tree topples a little off of vertical and starts to lean. Well, if that tree survives that experience, it's going to continue to grow up away from gravity and towards the light. And what happens is that it will build in a curve at the base of the tree when it's very young. And even when the tree is very old, it maintains that curve, that funny curve. And people often wonder when they walk up through our gorges, why are these trees all bent at their base like this? And that's because they have fallen over, are almost fallen over when they were young, and then compensated for it by growing up, curving up towards the light and away from the gravity. Some other trees besides hemlocks do this as well. The yellow birch tree. Now most people think of birch trees as the white birch, but the yellow birch is actually more common in the Finger Lakes region, and it particularly likes growing in gorges because of the cool environment and can survive the shade to some degree, not as well perhaps as the hemlock, but also it has this root system that can grow out over the sides of the cliff. The hemlocks and the yellow birch share this ability to grow around things, to grow over the edges of ledges and around cliffs and other obstacles. Now the other thing is they don't need a deep root system. They spread out over the surface. And if they needed to go deep down into the earth, say to get water or something like that, like some other species of trees, they just wouldn't even have a chance here. So they have a shallow root system that's able to grow over unusual surfaces and keep the tree hanging on to the edge of the cliff. And you can see some of the images there are amazing ways the roots are grown around the whatever it was they had to grow on to hang on to in order to get a firm footing, which many of them have for a very long time. Some other trees do this as well. Sugar maples can do it, and a number of others, but not too many species down here because you have all of those requirements of living on a steep slope. But particularly the hemlock and the yellow birch is what we find in our gorges. So that's why trees have their curved bottoms. Okay, so that's the story behind there. The gorges, particularly Buttermilk and Enfield Glen at Treman State Park, will close this month, no doubt. In the past, they used to always close it on Veterans Day, but they may let it stay open depending on the weather. I've seen it go as long as early December, but you know, get out there and enjoy those gorges and see what you can see in the fall. Now that the leaves are down, there's a lot you can see in the woods and enjoy them. So running down on time here, I'm going to do one little thing, maybe two. This is, I like to show other people's work. This is Deanna Stickler-Lawrence. She's a Facebook friend of mine, actually, and she posts beautiful photographs. She took a day recently up by a morning up to 6 Mile Creek and what they call the upper reservoir, our third dam. This is actually the city of Ithaca's water supply. I think maybe you're not supposed to walk back in there, but whatever. She got some beautiful morning photographs here, reflections in the water. And here is an aspen leaf with some droplets on it highlighted by the sun. And here's a little photo of a garter snake. Actually, I think she might have taken this over by Watkins Glen, actually, that must go soon into hibernation, into a hibernaculum with a lot of other snakes. And so there's a late season garter snake. So that's about all the time we have. Let's see, get down to the end here. So I want to thank you all for joining me here. And once again, Walk in the Park, episode 60. Go to walkinpark.com if you want to see more of my shows. Thanks for joining me. See you again next time.